Another story coming out of the state of Oklahoma, where the state school board approved a plan to require parents to declare citizenship status when they enroll their students into schools there. Officials say no personal information would be shared, but the overall number of undocumented parents would then be collected, handed over to immigration officials. The official who's essentially behind that policy joins us now, Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters. I go right to it on the why, and then I want to ask about some of the legalities. Why now? Why this? Why the schools?
Well, because we've seen an influx of illegal immigrants in our schools. We just recently sued Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because our lowball estimate is it cost Oklahoma taxpayers $474 million to educate the children of illegal immigrant parents. And we've got to get a handle on this so that resources, personnel can be utilized to make sure that our kids are catching up in education. We've instituted major reforms when it comes to literacy and math. We're trying to get these initiatives going as best possible. And the illegal immigration has created chaos inside our schools.
Now, it would not prevent, as I think I pointed out, I just want to be clear on it, though, students from enrolling. You're just collecting the data because, and I want to put this up on the screen, the Supreme Court's ruling from 1982 was Plyler v. Doe. That decision, quoting, "By denying these children a basic education, we deny them the ability to live within the structure of our civic institutions and foreclose any realistic possibility they will contribute in even the smallest way to the progress of our nation." Justice Brennan. So that was then, but that was saying that, hey, even people are undocumented, they still have to be educated here. And is this going to run into any legal issues, you think?
Oh, look, it might, because the Plyler decision is ridiculous. So we need to revisit that, number one. Number two, yeah, we're taking the information. We're not rejecting kids at this point. What we're doing is we're making sure that we have the information available so that way we can make sure resources are going where they should. But look, Plyler got it wrong. The reality is immigration in this country has been a mess. President Trump is bringing law and order back. We're going to work with President Trump and his team to make sure he's got the information he needs.
Understood. But the argument would be, even if you agree with all of that, and many people do, that immigration is a quote-unquote mess, as you put it, that the jurisdiction for enforcing our immigration laws doesn't fall with a local school superintendent. We have federal authorities, ICE, and other agencies that are not only can take care of it, but I'm sure the president would argue are taking care of it right now, not you.
Oh, I agree. We're here to work with them. We've seen blue states, blue governors, say they're not going to work with the Trump administration. They're not going to work with ICE. Well, that's ridiculous. And by the way, that's a felony. So we will work with President Trump. If he needs the information, we're going to get it for him. He said schools aren't going to be sanctuaries. We've said our schools will not be sanctuary schools here in Oklahoma. We will get you the information we need. We will help in any way that we can to help him enforce his immigration policy.
Okay. I'll bring up one other question. And that, I guess, it's kind of a humanitarian angle, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it, right? So we've had reports out of a number of places, mostly cities in this country, where there's a drop in attendance at schools. And when people are interviewed, they say, well, you know what, I'm afraid of what's going to happen with immigration. And then, so wouldn't something like this, because it doesn't have necessarily a practical effect, because to go back to the earlier point, you already have people enforcing the immigration laws, maybe make a situation like that worse?
No, I'm going to push back on you. There is a practical effect. If this president and ICE don't know where the families are, where the students are, you're going to have families that are deported without their kids. We're here to keep families intact. President Trump has talked about that. They need the information to have a good immigration policy. And look, the ICE officials, look, they're professionals. Right. They're going to carry this out in the best way possible.
But wouldn't they stop showing up for school, in larger numbers if this is in effect? Don't you think that's going to happen in Oklahoma?
I think if their families are deported, they're not going to be in school. But we want to make sure that the families stay together while they're being deported. And look, this is what the American people have asked for. President Trump is fulfilling a promise, and he's doing it in a great way of keeping families together while they're being deported. Schools have to cooperate with President Trump. We're proud to be a state that's standing there arm in arm with President Trump to help get the illegal immigration problem under control so that Oklahoma kids come first and Oklahoma kids can learn.
All right, Ryan Walters, Oklahoma. We'll talk about all of these issues from all the angles. Thanks for coming on today with us. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.